This is a new piece that I wrote. Actually, I started writing this when Jay, Cassie and myself went on holiday. And it was from a prompt Cassie gave us. Do you remember Jay? She gave us a prompt that said, "You are not broken."
Yeah.
And I wrote this. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have all poets been broken? Is it the cracks between that create tracks through which light flows? Searching for communication with the desire, the need to be seen, to be known. Existing in the anonymity of a fog, reaching out for communication for somewhere the lost can call home, for a space to belong. Does it always take one to know one? Can only a poet understand a poet and the expression behind the communication, even when they don't resonate with the intent behind the poetically composed? Tales flow through your veins like Shakespeare on acid because without a clear faucet, blockages create combustion and emotional pollination, seeds of negativity are sown. Creators cannot not create, regardless of subjectivity, and manifestations are a natural result of focused energy, and energy must always have some place to go. So if not onto a page, what happens to blocked energy when that energy continues to grow? Exchanging, weeping for seeking the right adjective or verb, completing a communication that feeds with more sustenance than food or breath when hearts ache for the truth in a word, the truth generating beauty, regardless of the topic inferred. But if light can illuminate rainbows channeled through broken pieces of glass, can it find beauty allowed to flow through these broken pieces of me? Ascending transmutations, elevations, the acceleration, often leaving feelings of being overexposed. Unprepared for the potential, its resistance to its insistence to the natural order that leaves you reeling, feeling the wound, the vacuum consumed by the familiarity of that growing, vacuous whole. But you are more than the accumulation of your experiences. You are the manifestation of divine intent, placing you in direct ascension with the lessons, course corrections with the expressed intention of ascent. There are no mistakes, no coincidences, no fear, but fear itself, creating divisions in the unity from which we have all been sent. What choices are there to choose when the absence of pain means death? When right and wrong become abstract concepts created to create conformity, moving us further from Dharma, from karmic clarity and divine alignment with the cosmic destination of universal consent. Socially accepted concepts are as transient as the wind and rely purely on the current social status of those nursing the current greatest greed. Brightly coloured distractions distracting us from love, from kindness, from inner strength and courage, from the will to supersede. So have all poets been broken? Are we all just vessels for the light? All simply searching for understanding, channeling our energies through the passages that we write? I would give you the answers if I knew them, but each journey is our own, and only by owning them personally are we ever able to truly comprehend the reason behind the paths that we are on. Rain flows so plants may grow, which balances the ecosystem and maintains life. As such, cracks appear to allow knowledge to flow, to advance humanity and excel in this life and beyond the accepted known. So no. You are not broken. You are warriors. You are warriors. So no, you are not broken. You are warriors, poetic units dispatched to reflect throughout time. You are not broken. You are chosen. You are the keepers of cosmic accountability recorded in the poems poets write.
I haven't really decided what I'm going to perform, so I'm just going to scramble through and hope I find something. Although I have written something new.
New shit.
It doesn't yet have a title. Give it some time. Lather coconut oil on it. Let it sink and soften and fill the gaps between your bones. On a Sunday, mourn, but not for too long, for life will not wait at the crossroads forever. Smother apricot and settle the deal with lime in case it goes awry again. Sow puppets to churn out your hurt, and when your body is ready, it will once again churn poetry, the way tea leaves lose their flavour when water scalds their shelter. Give it some time. Let your ancestors lay and crush the spirit of your dead days like garlic. Who cares if the dogs whimper outside? Any more feeding and they'll turn into wolves. Drive to your cottage by the sea and let your toes hold the pebbles in between. Suck the succulence of lavender, sleep for as long as you need. Scrub yourself with rice water. Tousle newspaper and collect all the unused words that never made it out your mouth. It doesn't matter. The world is listening anyway. Woo. I'm going to try and lower this.
Limited it.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Is that low enough?
Yeah, it should be. So I'm really unprepared, but in the meantime, I'm just going to plug myself. So I have a book. It's called Growing Pains.
Woo! It's a good book.
Thank you. Yeah, so if you want a copy, I have some on me because I always have some on me. It's like £10 for a copy. But yeah, if you're interested, come and find me after the show. I've got some. But I'll perform some new stuff again. Okay. I fall in love before love falls in me.
Say that again.
I fall in love before love falls in me. I lock myself out and chew up the key. I'm afraid to save numbers as contacts in case we lose contact. My shelf is stacked with magazines I never get round to reading. I care about things I don't and my heart stops beating. I get claustrophobic in basement galleries. My outfits are made of pathetic fallacy. I wish I was water even though I am sometimes afraid of it. I wish I were fire even though I am sometimes afraid of it. I cry about the passing of time, but I waste it anyway because it's mine. I take my empty stomach on flights. Unravel myself under fairy lights. I fall in love before love falls in me. How much time do I have? Do I have time?
You've got loads of time.
Okay, amazing.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll do one more. I stitched the wires in my heart when I questioned if love was something I had ever felt. The moon cascades, splits into, and a holy shade of light fills me. Sleek bronze armour melts all over me and they call it my skin. I call it silk. Thanks to you, I am able to love men platonically, but I am still trying to love the little things about me. Like how my eyelashes are windshields against the wind, and that these days I like to smile at everything.
This is called Diverse History. Between my mother and father, I feel as though I will never know who I am. It's a constant battle of culture, race, class, and just leaves me feeling like some sort of scam. Because recently I've been exposed to this new side of life that's made me reflect, where I'm hearing this term light-skinned, because they can see all of the black aspects. I have my mother's eyes, hair, nose and lips, and I have my grandmother's stance, walk, thighs and hips. But when I open my mouth to speak, everything that comes out is laughable, because everything they hear, they deem incompatible. I'm raised by a woman who is both black and white, in the Kensington flat she moved into after my dad lost the fight. He got kicked to the curb and I lost the chance to get to know him, but I got to know her, soon realising she was troubled within. She got to know me by beating every inch of me black and blue. They say that's what parents do, but I don't think that should be true. If I ever knew my father, I think he'd have taught me to never raise a fist, because he was a teacher that had more than just the curriculum on his list. But he was also a drinker, and the bottle left him defeated, leaving my mother so annoyed because, in some ways, you could say he cheated. Traded her for the bottle, surrendered to this life, giving up on being a dad. And I can understand and forgive that being a single parent is enough to make anyone mad. Stuck somewhere between the hurt and the pain, I had to build myself up with a lot of strength to regain. But I stepped out of my mother's home with far too much privilege for this battered outer shell. And we all know that privilege isn't something that others digest too well. So I have a heart for all people, regardless of the colour of their skin, because all my diversity has taught me is that what matters is what's within. I speak with the knowledge from my entire existence, and for this, I know that what keeps us apart isn't distance. I'm not the only lost soul trapped between their ancestors, and I know I definitely won't be the only protester, as I fight for equal rights for all people, no matter where they've come from. Because to me, all this discrimination and prejudice should be something that's already long gone. So now I don't believe for a second that I'm any sort of scam. I'm simply a person with a diverse history, and that makes me who I am. I wouldn't change any of it in a heartbeat, and that you can believe, because I wouldn't be stood here saying all this if not for what I've seen. I know our journeys are what shape us, but they ought to bring us all together, because when you strip it all back, we're all just out here trying to do better, trying to make the world better for the ones that will follow, because maybe then, instead of looking at all our different skin colours, we could just look forward to tomorrow. That's a bit about my past, but this is the present. And this year I went to Lisbon on holiday, which was like where I found the confidence to come out as non-binary and like just explore my identity a bit more, which was really useful. And this poem's called Lisbon. I had to work so damn hard to get here, but I don't want to keep living in fear. Every day threatens my identity until I'm left with a fragile sense of me. Perhaps that's why running away was the only way to feel completely safe. Lisbon was this vibrant city full of life that made me forget the last year of strife. A place where I could share with others and tell them how I cry for my mother. A chance to go out and feel the beat, never wanting to stop moving my feet. With so much to see and no time to think, I even managed to enjoy a drink. Symbols of pride filled the streets, but I found lust and desire in the sheets. Getting lost in only 500,000 people in a place where everything seems legal, it felt like I could finally stop dreaming and start the necessary healing. Years of damage from discrimination has found me working in education. I recently qualified as a history teacher, and now in this life I'm a firm believer that I can remain a force for good, especially for those still misunderstood. Whether it's my race, sexuality, gender, there's always a part I had to surrender. But I'm learning how to be bolder with each year that I get older. The people I've met have taught me well, advice that to others I promise to tell. This may be goodbye for now, however, Lisbon, your lessons will stay forever.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I wrote this morning. I don't really know what I don't know what it is about, but it just came out in the bathroom this morning. Okay, you grabbed my wrist and pulled me onto the dance floor, and even though I wasn't sure, I knew I felt drawn to you. Maybe it was because I could see through the tough exterior you put out there, but you had caught me unaware. I never thought someone like me would be of any interest, you see. My confidence has been lacking as my reflection I keep attacking. But with you I feel safe and unafraid, like this isn't some game to be played because we'll both lose. And I don't want to have to choose between you and anyone when I think I've already won. The way we talk in bed calms the racing thoughts in my head. You tell me what you like and I try to do it all just right, and I feel successful. Being with you is never stressful. My words feel inadequate and I know I don't communicate, but I'm trying to show you how much I care, even though every inch of my body is scared. I've been used and abused so many times I'm now confused, but I don't think this is lust, it's just my lack of trust. So I stay silent. After all the violence, I find it hard to stay too long in your arms without the urge kicking in to try to disarm, like you're some kind of weapon, but I know I don't feel threatened. I'm the one that's pinning you down until you decide to turn me around, and I let you. I trust you, but I don't think you'll ever understand how rare that is. I put on an act every day to hide what I miss, but I'm not acting when we're alone. You must hear the authenticity in my moan. That's why you love my tongue in your ear as you try to hear every bit of pleasure you bring. I'll make you feel like a king. You give me a throne to sit on, and when we wrestle, I feel strong. Your ability to make me laugh is a blessing, and even though you probably think I'm just messing, I promise it doesn't get any better than this. So just come here and give me a kiss. Thank you.
Right, so we're going to have round 2 with the same poets again, and we'll have a little mini break, and then we will have the birthday boy. I'm going to take this opportunity to read a new piece that I've written.
New shit.
New shit. I mean, this is brand new shit. I never ever read off my phone, mainly because I'm completely blind and I can't see it. So you might have to bear with me a little bit. And it is a little bit long, so it's not 8 hours long, but it's a little bit long. And it doesn't have a title yet, so. Words. Words, 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 so many words with so many meanings, and yet so many meaningless words. I love you, he says, and wakes her from her slumber, frees her from the curse, and everyone lives happily ever after. Everyone but me. Everyone but me celebrating, everyone but me reveling in a fantasy, everyone but me. I'm on the outside watching everyone inside reveling. It's never resonated for me, but infuriated, and I am as wild as the rage these words stir within me, stirring me into a frenzy that no one else can see, the damage these words create. I love you, he says. I control you, I hear. Embodied by the survival instincts of the wild, I push love away and set out in search of cheap thrills and danger to offer as tribute to the god of war that now resides inside, raging against 2,000 years of patriarchy sold as redemption to topple the house of lies built on the tale of a single temptress, singularly responsible for the downfall of all of man. Was I born wild, or was I fed the wilderness as I nursed? Either way, I don't remember a time I didn't feel both incomplete and exhausted by the demands of these words, force-fed as harmless fairy tales, creating a perpetual need for all of the women who had gone before, gone without before, who had sacrificed their happiness in the name of duty and conform, the misery of westernized misogyny passed down from the cells of my grandmother and my great-grandmother and my great-great-grandmother, carried into that life-giving superpower to bear more daughters, to be gifted with the weight of all the sacrifices of all the women who had gone before, forced to be brides, wives, mothers, containing choice by conditioning choice. In the words of the bedtime stories mothers told their sons and daughters, never hearing the words being sold as role models, conditioning choice, containing choice. And I am wild with destruction I cannot yet form into words, and so it turns on me, into chaos unleashed upon myself, because I too am a child of the patriarchy, and my choices too have been conditioned and contained. And so we ate out of the skip for 6, 7, 8 years, and not once did we buy a named brand, but we never ran out of cigarettes or alcohol. I hid my PTSD I hid my PTSD, self-medicating with drugs I'll eventually refuse from the doctor in favour of healing, but while it's illegal, I keep finding myself face to face with my face in the mirror in numerous futile attempts to perpetuate the bliss in numbness, playing silly games with the semantics of life and making inappropriate jokes, uniting those flirting with death's seducing allure. A screening process of sorts, designed to keep out anyone boring, anyone healthy, anyone well enough to hold up the mirror we abused for our self-destructive habits. Shocking myself because I'd never been confident sober, and I liked the new me, I liked feeling free, but the higher I got, the wilder she gets, and I cannot control her when she eventually ups and flies away, and I'm too high now to even try to stop her. Everyone thinks it's funny. I love you, they say. They don't know me, I think, and they don't want to know the rage these words stir inside her. They just love how her wild legitimizes their ache. They'll stop loving her when she's outrun her purpose. I love you, she says. You don't see me, I think, and drown myself in white paint and cherry red lips to mimic the clown I've become, the clown standing alone in the middle of the circus ring, wondering if anyone can see her. I wish cigarettes tasted like candy, and one day they will, but for now I persevere through the sickness because I know these will shorten my life for sure, shorten that rising storm, clip the wild raging inside me, tantalizing me with dreams of peace, and so cigarettes stay at the top of the list of things we can spend money on. They legitimize my ache. In the years to come, after I accidentally meet myself rushing down the steps at Waterloo Station, I will feel the full force of the tornado I kept on the minimized screen for so long, and each time I will believe I cannot withstand the storm raging and calling me back to return to how it was before, and sometimes I will fall. But who knew? Who knew that the confidence I'd find in this newfound sobriety would end up being the biggest high of all? Who knew? I love you, she says, but I don't like you. At least it's honest. She tells me to get it right next time, and I hate her, except I don't. But now I need to learn to love myself, and she's proved time and time again I cannot have both. So, exhausted by her examples of love, I learn to be alone. I love you, he says. But what is there left to love after the hurricane blew through everything I ever cared about, leaving a trail of destruction for as far as the eye can see? And what does his love mean? To be so familiar with each other's pain, their pain becomes your pain, and life feels empty without it. Dull and quiet, like the quiet after the fireworks, dull, and so like magnets we return, like boomerangs, like destiny, like fate, but nothing like love. Dull or safe. Nothing about love has ever felt safe. I love you. But how can you love me when I cannot love myself? And that's not to criticize or blame, but the reality of a lens that was so conditioned to only see faults, and so only hear faults, and so forever pushes love away. Conditioned to minimize themselves, to be the supporting act, to believe they chose to be the sub in this patriarchal role play. How can we trust our definitions of love when we were sold a fantasy of love and never told the truth about love? When we are brought up accepting the conditioning Disney sold through the lies he told, through the foundation upon which our current societal dynamic is based on the weakness and deception of a woman. Love has never been what I thought it was. We were sold a lie on love we became addicted to and grew to become the dealers of. But as I watched the years accumulate and felt my heart break with every lie hiding behind every I love you, traded for compliance and conform, the more the wild in me resisted and fought. I caught glimpses of it out of the corner of my eye, and in the whispers of nature, poems and love songs singing secrets to the wind the world didn't want me to know, till one day the kaleidoscope came together and I understood the conditioning contained, suffocating, manufacturing what was wild and free into the unlovable, to be manageable, to be malleable. Because the words had told me only the helpless princess was worthy of love, only the wide-eyed, skinny-waisted waiting to be saved, but I have never been a helpless princess, and I've never needed to be saved. And love has never been something to be bartered for, offered or sold. I love you, and I will always love you. Even when the wild in you does not conform, I love you without condition, and I will love you, and I will always love you, because to love someone is to love them whole. So to love you now is to love you always, and a promise to love you always means a promise to love you, even in the times that I don't. Thank you.
I'm going to do a poem called A Tyranny in Time. And this is about the concept of time and how I see it. Time is a constant friend, a constant failure, a constant confidence, and a perpetrator of betrayal. Time is always mine. It holds my hands through the fire of a stiff summer's day. It is everything I have. What is ahead and what is now is an imaginary wonderland situated in smoke, the clearest and most clouded glass. How could I hate what I master at my fingertips? Time sleeps in the palm of my mind, moulding itself to my waking efforts. Selfish ones, self-centered ones. I have ownership of it. If I could paint time for you, it would be a perfect white box that I could curl into. Undisturbed. Silence. Stillness. With a cracked, aging grandfather clock ticking above it. At the flick of a switch, a nerve in my mind, a break of hesitancy in my spine, the box shrinks and suffocates my lungs. Compresses all of my atoms into lifeless fatigue, spinning and severing me into a million pieces and throwing my gutless remains into a pining black hole before I consider resisting. Time's trusting hand no longer caressing my palm, but the coolness and the loneliness of a blue, breathless underworld. Panic surges, taking momentum with it, and I am just a piece of pain drifting forever in glacial eternity. Descending in slow motion into Arctic ice, I am bound restless. Silence. Stillness. This is what they call wasting away. My bones decay and outstrip the time it takes for a black hole to arise. Every once in a minute, if I choose it, time can last forever. If I choose it, time can die. That is the power I have over it. And what of the days where time decides to run? Still glued to my hand, it hurls us down the motorway, shoves my head down the drain, infects me in a way that can't compare to cocaine. 1,000 disco lights in shades of pink, blue and purple fuse into my tunnel vision. And it's 5 a.m. on a flight back home, bloody hands stuck to the window. I'm willing my doors to open and show me what happened. Time, brutally moulded into my mind, grips the moments I desire most. It cuts them short and stuffs the pictures at the front of my brain so I can dwell on them until I'm 80. But I'd rather not suffer. Time stretches my memories long, and I keep on stuffing the pictures to the back out of sight, so I can try not to dwell on them until I am 80. Thank you.
To celebrate, we booked a holiday away. I found myself in a city that felt safe. Walking on a tour led by an African man, dancing all night with him, wasn't in my plan. He held me close as I cried for my mother, the longing for her rarely shared with another. He offered a listening ear for whenever I'm in need. It seems he really wants me to succeed. So I came home to return to a poetry night, something in which I once used to delight. The man on stage had a voice so smooth, I had to record it so I could use it to soothe. When I shared it, I was invited to a workshop in which I wished the compliments would stop, but I opened myself up to the people there. I had been so afraid of what I wanted to share. Meeting a trans teacher at a poetry night made a rainy day turn incredibly bright. I remember the excitement I felt knowing he had poems inside he wasn't yet showing. We had a few strong cocktails before he performed. the audience were definitely left better informed. Trans men are so often being left out, but in their importance, I've never had a doubt. To a party I was invited, but I arrived scared. I'm glad the man on the doorstep had a joint he shared. When we talked inside, our similarities were revealed, all the parts about me that are usually well concealed. Our ADHD kept the conversation changing, whilst tips on autism we kept exchanging. At the party, my existence became validated, all the bullied kids that were once hated. Trying to get home in the rain from South London, I found myself trying a donut in Clapham Junction. He was such a salesman, he even sold himself. I couldn't deny the attraction that was felt. He drew a picture whilst I guessed where he was from, but of course, I just kept getting it wrong. As I took the picture home, I couldn't help but smile. The flirtation was something I hadn't had in a while. My confidence was lacking, which is why I was surprised to have an eloquent poet listen to me whilst I advised. It turns out his son had been recently diagnosed, when autism had been something he feared most. He said, if my son grows up to be like you, then I'm relieved. With all this deficit-based language, it's never strengths one sees. Perhaps he got to go home feeling even a little lighter, but I told him to call me should he ever feel frightened. I hadn't planned on going to an event in a cosy bar, talking to a man about the things that we think we are. I was devastated when he left, unsure we'd see each other again, but I think now I know that in him I have a friend. We sat for a long discussion on addiction, during which we recognised one another's affliction. He gave me a hug after I chose to be unafraid and told me that my actions were incredibly brave. I was invited to an inspiring art exhibition to show the part I'd played in this mission. I met the two men that founded a spatial design school, still have no idea why they thought I was the one that was cool. The conversations we had kept my mind stimulated, sharing insight on topics that were loosely related. Perhaps I'll join them one day with a project of my own, if I ever clear my mind enough to get in the creative zone. I was overwhelmed by nights and days of poetry when previously I wanted no one to notice me. So I escaped to Wales for a weekend retreat, my friend's housemate I wasn't expecting to meet, let alone stay up talking to him until early hours, finding comfort in writing because it empowers. Every ADHDer needs a body double for productivity. I couldn't have written this if not for what he's given me. I celebrated the end of summer at Carnival and met a man who had moved here from Portugal. I didn't expect him to try and give me £10, so that act of kindness made me fall to the ground. He simply didn't want my life to be so rough and told me that I wasn't pathetic, but tough. The time he spent with me will not be forgotten. If he didn't have a girlfriend, I'd have tried to shoot my shot in. But I need to accept that the summer will soon be over. All these men I have met may have brought me closer. I've been running away from myself for too long. Through the years of trauma, I've had to remain strong. There was a time at which I couldn't even speak to a man, but now I've healed enough to know that I can. Not every man is going to leave me feeling betrayed. The men I met this summer mean I'm no longer afraid. Thank you.
You please put your hands together for Mr. JC Dotsey.
How are you doing? Well, that's all about to change. Because I tell poems and stories surrounding all different themes and nature, so we might go down some pretty dark paths tonight. Adventures with little to no light. Avenues where feeling renewed is not accustomed to beings like me and you. See, there's no getting over what we've been through. Just trying to live with it, absorb it through time and see it through. What else are we to do? We only prepared for a few waves, but now the tsunamis come too. Currents of events that currently torment each and every one of us. Damn! Are we doomed? No lifeboat or lighthouse to sail to. I didn't know the ocean was this dark, always thought it was more of a pale blue. No fishes or sign of life. So sailing is currently taking each breath out of me to get to a destination that I don't even remember to be true. Do you ever remember feeling happy? Nah, well, me too. I feel like a sofa with no cushions or a balcony with no view. A knife without a fork or cereals with no spoon. A big without the mac or a mountain with no dew. I'm a pina colada without rum, I'm empty through and through. Am I doomed? But with my words and stories, I seem to see another day through. So the sun's come up one more time, so here I reside until I see that moon. So let me light up your adventures tonight with poetry as we walk down these spiritual avenues. Thank you.
Woo!
For those of you that don't know, my name is JC.C. I've been performing for just over 2 years now. And for tonight, in aid of like my birthday celebration and my family being here and stuff, I thought I'd perform not only my favourite pieces, but some of my most regarded pieces as well. This piece in particular has nearly got over 30,000 views across all my socials, so thank you very much. This is called I'm Not. I'm not a proper man. One of them blokes you see down the pub or with their life all together. See, I'm not one of them guys with a girl on his side, a pretty little thing in summer. The sun never gave me much of a shine, I'm not too much to look at, I guess. I'm not lonely, but I have few friends, and I'm not sad, just always on and off depressed, and I'm not a fighter, but I've never given up, and I'm not a quitter, I've just never really tried. I'm not perfect at rhyming, I'm not great with timing, I'm not really lyrically minded, I'm not perfect by any stretch. I'm not a treasure to dig up and find, I'm not a lost soul who's abandoned or strayed with its mind. I'm not a mental health ambassador, but I'm not a client with priority either. I'm not bad, I'm not good, I'm not pretty, I'm not ugly, I'm not skinny, I'm not fat, just chubby. And this is all a worry. I worry about my looks and my weight as if it's all sealed with fate, but I know when my time with death dates, no one will really remember me for any of these attributes. They may say, oh, he was kind, or he was great. They may say, oh, Jay, he would make my day. Or they may say something worse, filled with pain, but I'll never be here to remember any of this. I'm just another person lost in limbo. In between, the middle of it all. And yeah, I'd love to... Wait there, what's going on here?
You got this.
They may... And you, see, I'm a sucker for a cute girl with a cute smile and cheap pints. And yeah, I'd love to lose weight, but I love pizza and wine. And yeah, I'd love to be rich, but would I really like to put that effort in? And I may be forgotten, and that's actually fine. Because with this, you get a little insight into my lost life. Thank you.
Woo!
Listen, right? No matter how many times you put the pages in right fucking order, something's going to go wrong. This next piece is actually like the first piece I ever wrote where I felt like a writer. And I really felt like I had made it as a poet in some sense. I'm really proud of this. And I mentioned earlier about going down some dark paths tonight. This was about a friend of mine who was in quite a toxic and abusive relationship. And basically his girlfriend at the time was really pushing him to be someone that he wasn't. And really bringing out this ugly side of him. And I don't know, as poets, we feel like we have to write and we have to describe what we see. So this is called The Poet's Confession. Pleaded not guilty by virtue of demonic possession. Paranormal ghosts set the scene. She kept the private affair close in her humble confession, considering they were so clean. Not guilty by way of possession. It was a one-horse town interior. Church bells tolled in seasons, and in view of myself, I was inferior. See, pitiful cries delivers pitiful nights, sending the ghost insane. Screeching the wise and claiming the blind, they lead the known to plain. Not guilty by way of possession. I saw the crime itself. Not guilty by way of possession. The puppet of angels and elves. Thank you. This is another one across all the socials. This is called Can't Escape You. I see a silhouette of you in a tortured sky. You seem to give the miner's life. I smell an odour of your previous scent, one I fiended but now resent. I thought of you when I was cooking, but that must have been the voice of a ghost. Because it was only me I saw in my kitchen, but somehow the echo of you still floats. I see your eyes in the leaves and trees, and I feel your presence in a summer's breeze. So I waited till winter to see if you still roamed, and now I hear you in a charcoal moan. I took up painting to try and escape, and then I somehow painted your face. I wish this wasn't in reality the case, but a canvas was always made for your place. I went to church for an exorcism, and they said they don't cast out angels. So I went to hell to try and tear you away, but even there, I saw your face. So to live without you is to still live with you, and I'm sure somewhere irony has a grin. To live without you is poetic of the life that could have been. Thank you. As I said, I'm doing a bit of like a mixture of poems tonight. This next one's actually a sonnet I wrote years ago.
Love those.
Yeah, you gotta love them, man. You gotta love them, come on. But I wrote this before I actually got involved in the poetry and spoken word scene, and I don't know, whenever I've got like a headline gig like this, I always like to like sneak it in, because I think if I could show that like 17, 18-year-old like Jay what you could be doing with this piece, it put a smile on his face. So this is called Broken Glass. A man with no chest bleeds more than you know. Alone forever, is this it for me? How am I to eat when I have no soul? Hungry forever, is this my destiny? I stared at you through broken glass today, shattered through the lens of insanity. See, we were once like a top performing play. We were just too full to our capacity. We packed every seat in the house to express our love, even though the risk was really high. See, we had to jump to reach what was above and take us away from our mundane lives. I once loved you, missed you, and even kissed you. But now, these silly little dreams are through. Thank you. Bloody hot up here, ain't it? Jesus. So within poetry and spoken word, it's given me opportunities to do a lot of things. And one of them things is host a radio show with the host tonight, Kilha McQueen, called Kilha Conversations. Round of applause, please. And I know when like people get up here and like plug their stuff, you know, they're plugging their stuff, but this is actually a radio show like I'm really proud of. It's so good. Our most recent episode with Stephen Del Sol was around Notting Hill Carnival, and it was like really educational, but we actually learned a lot about like British culture in that time and the zeitgeist around Britain as well. So I'd recommend to check it out. Don't worry if you don't catch it live, you can always like replay it.
Listen again, links on my Kilha page.
There you go, it's like I've got someone else here with me. Jesus Christ. But on there, I've basically been talking about how I've released an online anthology completely free of charge on my website. Go check it out, jc.c.com. And basically, me and my family were on holiday, and I was just basically taking things I could see as like word prompts and inspiration and motivation. And I really hope this anthology can inspire others to just look around them and see what is there to like utilize and make into great bits of art, because creativity is just waiting for us to grab it, but we need to be there ready to do it. So this is called Poolside. Tear the stars out from the sky. Take the sun away. Per your request, there shall be no more light. No more sign of day. I sit beside you in awe, and then I reflect on you in distaste. See, you're like my favorite cigarette. resting on my lips poisons me every day. A rubber ring wasn't made for two, nor was the us. But you tried to squeeze us in until we felt the inevitable bust up. You took up all the space on the slide, and I saw all your faces experience heaven and hell. See, I was too far back when you begun. You were planning everything out, where to put the sunscreen and sunglasses, when I had just brought the towel. You planned the whole day by the pool, when I was just killing a couple of hours. You wanted to try every slip and slide, and I was just checking them out. I was dipping in my toes, checking out the temperature with my fins. As you ignored the potent signs, you went diving straight in. I acted as the lifeguard and quietly ignored the slow fall. I never sent for rescue, I never made a call. I happily watched us burn with chlorine and piss at the bottom of the pool. No room for rescue. No more signs of life. No more fun shall be had whilst we're sitting poolside. And I'm sorry that I can't be your man, but hurting you was never the plan. I promised I only wanted to make you feel full. So shut all the waves and slides. Evacuate the pool. Thank you. Bloody hot here, bloody hot. This is a new piece. New shit, all that.
New shit.
New shit. It should be releasing soon, but I kind of wanted to demo it out tonight. A green person is described as a random person who came into your life and changed you. A person who you now can't imagine life without. It's as if they've made you. They've loved, they've calmed, they've tamed you. Saw the straight you. Openness with a listening soul, no waiting list as there is to date you. So it'd be a shame to pass these opportunities on without realizing the importance of therapeutic talks that now maintain you. See, I try and hold each and every conversation in my mind. I constantly replay you. Can I frame you? Make sure to make a day to spend, share, love and date you, entertain you. Cinemas and restaurants, you ain't no starter course, nah, you're the main food.
Jeez.
My annihilating anxious appetite, man, every time you came through. Can I claim you? Or am I just looking for calamity caused by chaos and trying to change you? But I just want to repay you. You built me up with stronger foundations now that I can aim to. Help in every which way I can, day or night, no need to feel ashamed to. Call me up whether close or far, I promise I'll jet. Come anytime, anywhere to aid you. Have a think. Have you found your green person yet? If so, appreciate all the ways they've shaped you. Thank you.
Jeez. New shit.
We'll be moving on to my final piece in a minute. But before that, I want to give a big thank you to Metaphorest for not only having me, but everything you do, man, in the poetry community, running events, doing the videos. Please give it up for Meta. Truly a close soul, man. And obviously we're here to celebrate my 24th birthday. I know I look 21, okay, you don't have to say that. Shut up. But as some of you don't know, I share a birthday with my mum, and I'd really appreciate it if we could all sing a happy birthday. Her name is Vicki, so let's go. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Vicki. Happy birthday to you. Oh, that was cute.
And happy birthday to you, Jay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, have done.
At At the end as well, I've got a big bag of vegan-friendly sweets there for anyone to take as much as you want, please. They're not coming home with me, they'll go in the bin, so just take all of them. So everyone, it's my last performance, so please get out your phones, get your Instagram stories ready, get your TikToks ready, get your X's ready, whatever they call it nowadays. Because this one's about when you're proper crushing hard on someone and like you're getting a bit obsessed with them and you just want to be their absolute everything, man. This is called You're My Sweet Addiction.
I like this one. Go on.
If you're the sweet, let me be the rapper. If you're the meat, let me be the matter. If you're the conversation, can I be the chatter? And if you're the highest of heights, then let me get my ladder. If you're a film, can I be the actor? Play any role, I'll win us BAFTAs. If you're the light, let me be the lampshade. And if you're right, let me steer you the wrong way.
Wheel it. I want to wheel up.
If you're a film, can I be the actor? Play any role, I'll win us BAFTAs. If you're the light, let me be the lampshade. And if you're right, let me steer you the wrong way. If you're the scar, let me be the tissue. If you're the ocean, then a boat I'll give you. And if you're an addict, let me be the needle. And if you're the dung, can I be the beetle? If you're the pillow, let me be your wall. If you're the joker, I'll be the fool. If you're the pear tree, can I be the partridge? And if you're a Game Boy, let me be your cartridge. You're like heroin, you're my sweet addiction. You're my pharmacy, my abundance of prescription. Can it be the same? Do you feel this way? Tell me the truth, tell me what to do. Are we really in love, or am I writing another poem about you? I've been JC.C. Thank you, man.